London, the British capital, came alive Friday, forming a carnival of resistance to President Donald Trump's working visit to the United Kingdom. The protests kicked off around 9:00 a.m. local time, as Trump departed London for a military demonstration at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. Hundreds of people gathered in Parliament Square to witness one of the most bizarre political stunts ever to grace the skies of London, a 20-foot blimp, shaped like a baby Trump, that took flight outside the UK's seat of government, alongside statues of political giants like Winston Churchill. It flew for about 2 hours. The blimp was intended as a symbol to show the president that the UK sees him as a petulant, vicious, self-obsessed child. Max, one of the activists working to set up the blimp, who referred to themselves as Trump babysitters, told HuffPost UK. "And we are go. Bit of a slower ascent than expected, but..." A chorus sang songs including "We Are Family" and clanged pots and pans as they headed toward Parliament Square. They held signs denouncing misogyny, racism and Islamophobia, among many other themes. At around 2 p.m., tens of thousands more began amassing at Portland Place, near the BBC's main broadcast studio, for the primary Stop Trump march, which would culminate in a rally at Trafalgar Square. This was the site of gargantuan protests against then-President George W. Bush in 2003, London's emphatic response to Donald Trump. All culminating in a rally in Trafalgar Square tonight, expected to draw tens of thousands of people, perhaps some of the biggest protests since those against the Iraq War in 2003. Pic.twitter.com/3/5CKS, James Longman, at James A. Longman, July 13, 2018. The march proceeded down Regent Street, normally a busy shopping street, which had been closed off for the protest. It was so crowded that people could barely move. There were sign-making stations, and people sold Trump toilet paper. Trump toilet paper, or loo paper, as it's called here, for sale on Regent Street. Tens of thousands of people packed Trafalgar Square at the protest rally, and opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn addressed the crowd. "We are asserting our right to demonstrate, our right to free speech," he said to an enthusiastic crowd. According to the Press Association, on the edge of the crowd, people were busking, dancing and trying to get in view of the various TV crews lined up next to the steps of the National Gallery. There was also a Trump wall, about 5 feet high and covered in anti-Trump messages, reported Chris York of HuffPost UK. The handmaid on the left, Angela Ward-Brown, traveled from Winchester to attend today's protest. "Totalitarian regimes, like the one on the hit show, have their roots in some of what Trump's doing now," she said. Endemic. Pic.twitter.com/ZXSZG9RGTD, Willifredge, at Willifredge, July 13, 2018. Trump ruffled feathers across Europe this week, starting with a trip to Brussels for a NATO summit. After slamming NATO member states by claiming they're not contributing enough to collective defense spending, he announced in a surprise press conference Thursday that he managed to immediately increase spending commitments, a claim that other leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, later disputed. Trump then made his way to Britain, where Prime Minister Theresa May welcomed him with a gala at Blenheim Palace, the ancestral home of Winston Churchill. As the leaders dined, the Sun newspaper published a blistering interview with Trump in which he slammed his British counterpart for her handling of soft Brexit negotiations. "If they do a deal like that, we would be dealing with the European Union instead of dealing with a UK, so it will probably kill the deal," he said. The president took the opportunity to lambaste London Mayor Sadiq Khan for the spate of crime the city has experienced, EU leadership for letting in migrants who are supposedly destroying European culture, and the City of London itself for making him feel unwelcome by flying blimps. A lone counter-protester, who referred to himself as Brit Pete, railed against the mainstream media for making up stories about Donald Trump. Pic.twitter.com/G2Zigbee, Willifredge, at Willifredge, July 13, 2018. At a news conference on Friday, Trump attempted to make nice on his criticism of May by blaming fake news, and said the relationship between the U.S. and the UK remains closed. It didn't put what I said about the Prime Minister, he said, referring to The Sun. When a reporter pointed out that The Sun did include Trump's positive remarks about May, he said, "Oh, good. If you reported it, that's good." But he complained that it didn't put those remarks in the headline. Chris York of HuffPost UK and Liza Heron of HuffPost contributed reporting. This story has been updated throughout. Follow HuffPost UK's live coverage of the protests here. Correction: an earlier version of this article included a reference to a 6-foot blimp. The blimp in question is 20 feet long, or about 6 meters. Related: Trump baby blimp hits the skies of London during UK visit. Trump goes full xenophobe. Migrants strip Europe of culture. Trump warns soft Brexit plan might kill any US-British trade deal. Download photo gallery. UK protests Trump's visit.